We're going to look at how you edit some of the content for the Hope for Healthcare website. And we're using a smart add-on template, and we'll be editing K2 content. So as we look at the home page, the content we'll be focusing on in this tutorial are these boxes down here under the slideshow. And these boxes in a traditional Joomla template would be considered to be in modules. We are not going to be working with modules in this tutorial. In this site, these are K2 items. So if we go to the back end and we go to System Control Panel, we see K2. These are K2 items. K2 is a content management system within the Joomla content management system. The purpose of K2 is to make articles using a better process. And so we're going to work with the articles, the K2 item articles. They're known as items. As you see, items right here, add item, items. And we're going to edit exactly what makes them up, just as a way of assisting in future efforts to be able to find the correct items for a page. As this is the home page that we're working on, we will go to the menus, main menu, English, and let's go to the home menu, and we go to module assignment. It will default to come into details, but you want to go to module assignment. We want to hide any module that's not assigned to this menu, and we want to hide any module that's not published. What this means is only show those things that are showing up on the home page. And this is the whole list of modules. Within that module is a K2 category, K2 content called Top Universities. If we were to come here to Top Universities and simply set it from published to unpublished, and we save it, if we were to go back to the front end and refresh, we would lose all of that content. So this clearly tells us that the university's object, let's set it back to published and save and close, is what we're looking to edit. We'll close this menu item and we'll go to Components, K2, Items. Ordinarily, we would go to Extensions, Modules, but we're going to Components, K2, Items. Once we get here, we are faced with an unknown amount of items, and what we need to do is to set the category. So by default, when you come here, this is what you'll find. And please bear in mind that this is a template in its default state, so the names are just Greeked. So we'll set our category right here to Top University. And one of the ways to be able to identify whether you have the right content is you can click on the image icon here, and it will preview what that image is. And so if we were to go to the front page, let's refresh because we republished. And so we see this image, and if we were to load more, we'll see more of the others. But we're in the right area for this. And so go to the back end. And so these are all Top University. And by the way, there are two categories being used in that K2 object group. One is top university, and the other one is mathematics. And so the reason I mention this is that some of the images that are on the front are for mathematics, and some are for the top university. And that is because the object which is feeding, so here's the image you just saw. The object which is feeding this area of the site, it can take any number of categories and it will randomly choose from those categories to populate. And if we let's go to our traditional modules area to see what I'm mentioning. And if we were to filter with UNIV to get to universities, if we were to, this is the area that's showing up on the home page, we see that we have two categories, mathematics and top universities. Now by default, it's set to random ordering, which is why it keeps just changing them around. I'm going to change that to alphabetical. And the reason I'm doing this is because I would like to make sure we have some predictability in the case of Hope for Healthcare. Maybe in the case of a use of a university, randomizing it might be fun for students, but I don't think we want to have it randomized on this site. This way, we will have a predictable outcome each time. So let me refresh so that sorting order is being used, and now we'll refresh again, and it's holding in place. And so this is how we'll be using it for the site. The other great benefit of doing this is as you're working on this, when you update something, you can be guaranteed it's going to be exactly where you expect it to be. So now back to how we actually edit those items. Let's save and close this module. We're done with this. And actually, let's rename it. I'm going to rename it FP, which is shorthand for front page blocks, so that we never have to wonder what we're calling it anymore. That's what we're calling it, FP blocks. Yay. And we'll have this searching for FP. We have only one item. Now let's get back to those K2 items. K2 items. And for now, we will leave the categories named as they are because they really won't be seen anywhere. And top university. So let's be sure. Okay, so our first item is going to be this one with these weird looking chairs. So let's find that item. Okay, so it's this one here, and so it's the fourth one down. So to edit it, we'll simply click on here, and I'm going to give us a name that we can remember. I'll just call it block 01. We can rename it to something more useful later. I'll also change the alias. What the alias is when you, let's go to the home page to explain this. We have no alias on the home page. This is simply the home page, but we click on an item, and the item generates this address. Well, this part of the address here is from the alias, and so as we come, let's come back to the home page, and let's simply save this with the new name and the new alias. And now when we go back to the home page and we refresh, and we click on this item, now look at what the address has become. So this is how you control what the direct address is in Joomla. Now to control the content, the actual image, I would recommend that the first thing you do is on the home page, you click on the item and then you click on the image directly and right click and save this image so that you're able to get the actual resolution. And so when you go into Photoshop, this is going to be the exact pixel resolution you're going to use for any image that's going to go into one of these items. And I'm saying this because I don't want the items to be coming out square or some other shape. I would like them to maintain the exact aspect, the pixel aspect ratio that they do in the original template. There are two places that we will be editing images for this item. Within the Content tab, we have the actual text that you'll be getting from Donna. And as you scroll down, you see some images. These images appear full size in the editor in the back end. However, in the front of the site, they look differently. So here you have your primary image, which we haven't seen how to edit yet. Then you have the content area, and then you have those 4 images that appear to be full size. These images are actually displayed, as you can see, as really neat pieces of content. Below that, you now have what's called the additional info, and you have information about the author and all kinds of additional information. This is the power of K2, is that an article can have all of this complexity and sophistication. And so if we go back to the area where we edit that, what you will be doing is you will be getting the text content from Donna to edit here. And then down here, these 4 images, which you and Donna will figure out what goes in there to support this menu item, you'll make them at this same resolution and you'll replace these images. So we still haven't gotten to the primary image of this item. That's addressed here in the Image tab. And remember we talked about right-clicking and saving the image so you can get the dimensions. So what you would do at this point is you will click on Choose File, and then you will browse to wherever you have saved the new image. And then when you choose that, it'll simply replace this, and then when you save this module and you go to the front page and you refresh, you will see the new image there. Now there is a chance that you can run into an issue where it doesn't update. You do everything right and you go to the front and the old image is there. If you run into this, go to the System tab and go to Clear Cache, then select this and delete all, and select Clear Expired Cache and Clear Expired Cache, and then go back to the front page and refresh. There's an issue that occurs between Joomla and K2 sometimes, and this is what gets you past it. Let's get back to our K2 item and block 1. And you will more than likely change it to another name. The main thing is, with these very bizarre Greek-looking names, I didn't want us to get confused as to which one we're working on. Okay, so that's how we changed the primary image. By the way, ignore this green thing. It wants us to upgrade to a different version of K2, but if we do that, we're going to screw a few things up. Image gallery is not being used in this item, but what image gallery does is that it lets you load an unlimited number of images, and then they show up in another area. Let's go back to the front page, And so somewhere beneath here, the gallery of images would show up, and it really is an active gallery. You click one and it becomes full size, and the others are just thumbnails. So it's pretty cool. Media lets you add things like a video from Vimeo or YouTube. Extra fields is being employed in this case. We may choose not to use extra fields, so for now I would actually not do anything with it. Most likely we'll end up deleting it, but I want to leave it in place for now in case we want to simply rename and reuse it. I don't think we will, but for now it'll stay. And attachments, you can actually have attachments actually in items here, which is pretty powerful stuff. It gets down into very interesting. You can actually add a file right here, and max upload size of 1 gigabyte. So I'm pretty sure we don't have a need for that right now. So that's how you edit the items in that area of the home page.